I say it is the Down Beach Buzz podcast for April 3, 2025. We have Sherry Lilienfeld from eXp Realty. It's also powered. This podcast is powered by Rate.com and Paul Scollage, the man behind the financing of homes and mortgages and cash out and refis and all that. He's Paul Scollage at Rate.com. Sherry Lilienfeld? Hello?
Yes. Hello.
You there? All right, stay right there.
Her name is Sherry, super real estate pro. Sherry, super duper realtor to the stars.
I want you to be serious.
I love that. Thank you.
Can you be serious one time, just as I read the list of things we're going to accomplish today? It's very upsetting. The real estate market, it's going through a cycle. It happens every 10 or 12 or 13 years, whatever. We're in a cycle, a chaotic cycle. So this podcast will be perfect for it. So today we're going to cover some topics mainly revolving around the chaotic real estate market, price reductions. People are doing more open houses. It's we call it price adjustments. And so it's causing, some people think it's an apocalypse. We have some video. And then Sherry's going to talk about the importance of being, you need a buyer representative. You need somebody on your side, especially down here at the shore where there's an awful lot of money being transacted. So there's price drops, longer days on market, more open houses, like I said, the impact of the short-term rental businesses. Sherry will also basically give you the pros and cons of, well, now is, it sounds like cliche, Sherry, but it's really, it's moving into becoming a very good time to buy, especially if you are a cash buyer. Now more than ever, you need a buyer's agent, somebody who represents you and just you. That could be Sherry Lilienfeld of eXp. That could be, right?
Yep.
You can say yes.
Yes,
Just
please.
be proud. Listen,
Some agents really love being listing agents. I really love working with buyers. I don't know why. I've always kind of more gravitated to that. Not to say don't like the listings, love the listings, but I seem to work with a lot of buyers.
Now's the time where you need a buyer's agent, right? So I was doing just sniffing around on some of the real estate websites, and in no particular order, when I see these price cuts, that's a weird listing right there, but from all price ranges. Now, not every single house is being reduced in price, but on average, Sherry, I think it's about 30% of the market, possibly more. Is that possible?
Yeah. So one thing I'd like to alert you to, like when you see these price cuts, that's for the current listing. There have been quite a number of homes that actually have been relisted from a higher price. So those price cuts are not necessarily reflective of the true price cut, nor are they necessarily reflective of how long a property's been on the market. And when I started digging deep into my numbers, it's over a third of properties on the market. Listen to me, over a third of the properties on the market have had price cuts. That is quite substantial. That means they're not flying off the shelf like they were in 2020, 2021. That means you have to be very knowledgeable about the price that you're going to go in and make an offer at. Yeah, great pictures. Thank you for doing that research.
I'm all about the numbers, as you know. I'm focused on, the economics. I'm a fiscal conservative when it comes to real estate, especially in Margate, Ventnor, Longport, where there's a lot of money going back and forth, a lot of money being transacted. Real estate, Sherry, as you know, is the #1 industry of the South Jersey Shore. It's not tourism. It's not restaurants. It's not the beach. It's real estate. So once again, real estate and real estate related services, that's the #1 industry that keeps the seashore alive. Would you agree?
I definitely agree. And yeah, very interesting to see these price cuts. Where did you find them? Were you on what app were you on when you were looking at the price cuts?
Well, I think the most common one people gravitate towards is Zillow, but there's pros and cons to Zillow or Realtor.com, or go to individual realtor real estate agent websites. But this stuff is, I'm pretty sure it's Zillow.
Yeah, and like you said, earlier, like people have been noticing a lot more open houses. Some houses are open like every weekend, and that's an indication of the times, right? I almost got rid of my open house signs because we didn't need them for a while, but now I'm revamping them and getting new ones. So
But it's true. The value of Ventnor, Margate, Brigantine, Longport, the value of these homes, this property did not go down. It's just those kind of nutty prices that kind of got inflated from, well, a lot of money everywhere, low interest rates, people trying to escape the big city from Dr. Fauci and everything. So, these numbers are really coming back down to earth. So it's still just as valuable, but more realistic numbers. Would you agree?
yeah, I mean, so people are still, if you sell your house now and you bought it pre-pandemic, you're still going to make quite a significant gain on your property. It's just maybe not as significant as it was 6 months ago. So there's still a gain, a big gain, because how prices of homes doubled. So people still have money to be made when selling their properties, even if they come down in price a bit.
Okay. Want me to bring some uplifting video to the podcast, the Down Beach Buzz podcast? Can I do that?
I love your videos. Yes.
This is going to make you feel good because everybody accuses me of always, stirring the pot, got to be softer and sweeter. You attract more bees with honey, that kind of nonsense, And then I think about it. I'm kind of bummed out. And I wake up the next morning. I said, oh, screw that. I want to get right back to why I was put on this earth. And that's to bring you truth and justice in the real estate market. And Sherry, why am I not a realtor? Why am I not getting into the real estate business? Why am I not a realtor?
I really don't know, because you seem to love it so much. You love to study these real estate.
But do you know why? Do you know why I love real estate so much? And I enjoy talking about it and writing about it and keeping track of it? Because I'm not a realtor. Because it's not easy being a realtor. I watch you. I see everybody's running around. It's crazy. And now it's a reshuffling of the deck with this crazy cycle that we're in, a cycle that I think needed to come around sooner or later, right?
Yeah. So it's funny because people say to me, oh, don't you watch, the HGTV? I said, I work real estate 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want to watch somebody else sell real estate? But I know you like to, and you love to send me videos of other realtors.
All right,
so
here we go. I think you'll enjoy this. Here we go.
The short-term rental market is on the verge of total collapse. What happens next will send shockwaves through the entire housing market. Over 2 million Airbnb and VRBO properties are about to flood the housing market simultaneously, creating the single biggest inventory surge in real estate history. I don't make these claims lightly. The data we're about to share with you has been meticulously gathered from multiple industry sources, property management systems, and financial institutions, and the picture it paints is undeniable. If you've been waiting on the sidelines for the right time to buy, or if you're an investor trying to protect what you've built, what we're about to show you could fundamentally change your investment strategy.
So far, so good, huh?
That's very positive.
But it gets right
for
to the
a buyer.
point.
It's positive for a buyer. Yes, 100%.
So let's jump into another clip here, just a little bit further into this, no holds bar report here. And let me hit play.
You need to understand how many of these properties were financed. During the pandemic-era real estate boom of 2020 to 2022, interest rates were at historic lows. The average 30-year fixed mortgage bottomed out at 2.65% in January 2021. This created a gold rush mentality among investors looking to capitalize on the growing short-term rental market. According to data from the National Association of Realtors, approximately 28% of all homes purchased in 2021 were bought by investors, the highest percentage ever recorded. Of those investor purchases, our analysis indicates that roughly 37% were intended for use as short-term rentals. But here's where it gets interesting. Many of these investors used creative financing structures to acquire multiple properties rapidly. The most common strategies included cash out refinances on existing properties to fund down payments on new acquisitions, cross collateralization of multiple properties, interest only loans with balloon payments, private lending with 3 to 5 year terms, and home equity lines of credit used for down payment.
That's crazy stuff, isn't it? We've been talking about this for 2 years, so it's kind of weird to see third parties and other people, chiming in saying, yeah, short-term rentals do play a role in the available inventory in any market, right? Sure.
I didn't realize it though. It was 28%. 28% of home sales were by investors to do short-term rentals. I'm not sure how they got that statistic, because it seems like it's hard to obtain, but I'm sure it's a high percentage. So the other thing that happened pre-pandemic related to short-term rentals, so you had very, very low interest rates, right? And then you also had all these people who were renting places on a short-term basis to do their work remotely. So it was a perfect storm for someone buying and renting. But yeah, now things have changed a bit. People have to go back into the office and interest rates are higher rates. So anyway, just a comment.
And this is some detail here where some are starting to wake up and realize, hey, the gold rush of short-term rentals, maybe it might be over. It's not going to go away, but it was oversaturation. Everybody got into the game. Everybody converted their house into a short-term rental, because why not? But then too many people had inventory, housing inventory. Prices came down. Maybe the vetting wasn't as great as it could have been, and there were less homes to be sold and transacted. So I'm always telling Sherry, when I talk about STR, short-term rentals, that means that I want you to have more housing to buy and sell, because these short-term rentals, technically, they are commercial operations operating in a residential neighborhood, but we kind of forget about that. So one more clip, and this is about the conversion. More people are going, you know what? I think it's going to make more sense to convert my short-term rental to a long-term rental. A lot of benefits for that. I think the number one benefit is it keeps the community more lively year-round. And small businesses, they want to have more year-round residency. So let me 638. Where are we here? Let me just click this on here.
It helps support this channel and keeps us motivated to keep making you great content. Thank you. Now, let's continue. The early warning signs are already visible if you know where to look. New short-term rental listings have decreased by 6.7% quarter over quarter, the first decline since 2020. Meanwhile, the conversion of short-term rentals to long-term rentals increased by 19.2% in the last 6 months. More telling, we're seeing a significant increase in off-market conversations between short-term rental owners and real estate agents. Our survey of 215 agents in vacation markets revealed that 68% have been approached by multiple short-term rental owners looking to sell quietly before listing publicly. This indicates a growing awareness among informed investors that the market is shifting.
And that's why you should call Sherry Lilienfeld of eXp Realty, right?
Yeah, so I wanted
Wait, let me
to
turn
tell
your
you a
mic up. I'm
story.
sorry.
I know you like my stories. Just this week, I had a call from a landlord of a property, a short-term rental property, where the landlord and their family use the house above, and they have a rental below. It's nice. It's a 2-bedroom, one bath. It's very, very nice. So they have a winter tenant who wants to go yearly, and he said to me multiple times, the landlord, I could not have asked for a better tenant. Great. But he wanted to go Airbnb, and he has this crazy projection of what he can get, if he was fully rented, right? It was like $45,000. I said, so how did you do last year with your summer rental? He goes, it wasn't good.
The short-term rental market is on the verge of total collapse.
I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
So anyway, he has this number in his head based on renting every day, Airbnb, this crazy price. And I asked him, like, did you get that last year? He goes, no, I didn't even get close to that. I said, why are you going to try that again when you have this great tenant who wants to give him a 2-year lease and give him a nice amount of money. He's already told me multiple times I could not have asked for better tenants. So I have been really pushing him to take his long-term tenant. I said a good tenant is worth their weight in gold. Take your tenant that you already know, and don't do this, oh, what if I could get all this money, when you've already proven you can't get that money or haven't gotten that money, and the market is just getting softer for the rentals. So anyway, that's my little story. It's in complete concurrence with the video that their short-term rentals are converting to long-term rentals, and there is such a need for the long-term rentals, especially down here at the shore. If you have a property that that you're considered doing yearly for now, this is a great time to get that yearly tenant, because people are looking, they're getting out of their winter leases and they need yearly rentals. You know what that's like, right? I remember when you were going through something similar, when it gets hard in the summer. So anyway, it just happened this week. I've just had this conversation with one of my clients, and I'm like, take a good tenant is worth their weight in gold. Take it. And I'm going to give you one more thing. There's an expression. It's a Wall Street expression, right? Bears and bulls make money and pigs get slaughtered. When you get greedy, you end up with nothing. Don't be greedy. Be reasonable. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Keep in mind that Sherry and I love short-term rentals, but they need to be managed properly. And some of the short towns, they really are the wild, wild west. And even if they have rules in place for the short-term rentals, enforcement is somewhat lacking because it's so tough. And then you don't even know if you're tracking everybody on Airbnb and VRBO. That's one thing. But what about people who have their own private Facebook pages, their own websites set up because they're managing a whole bunch of doors, which are rental units? So I really don't think the towns have their head around this thing, but it's still a great thing that the seashore properties, the seashore locations, they really always should have short-term rentals, but they have to be properly managed. And some towns let everybody on in, whatever you want to do, knock down that bungalow, create a big McMansion with no setback, get everybody in. And then it got oversaturated. What happens when there's too much of something? All of a sudden you have to lower your price. All of a sudden you have to, you're not going to vet that lease, vet that renter that well because you need the money. And then, it's a long story, but let's talk to our good friend Todd Sachs. We play a lot of his videos. He's a Maryland realtor, and sure, he's a real estate guy that he don't care what anybody thinks. I know, sometimes you got to be careful and be respectful of certain topics in the real estate space, but Todd seems to have a different outlook on that. He feels that it's his duty to talk about some uncomfortable topics. So let's take a look at Todd Sachs, something from March 25, 2025. Let me see if I get this up and running properly as we do this. And then we click yes. Here we go.
More people own multiple homes. More people own Airbnbs. We're going to go over some stats. They're not making money. A lot of people are not making money on their Airbnbs. They're abandoning them. Some are turning them into long-term rentals. Are there a percentage of mortgages that maybe could be considered fraud? Probably so. Mm-hmm. There are stats out there that if you're not living in the house as your primary residence, where you're living in a primary residence, but you bought this other house for an Airbnb or a rental, if things get tight, you're going to not pay that. You're going to pay your primary residence. You're not going to pay your second house, your rental property. I read that you are not allowed to Airbnb an FHA mortgage. Oh, it's great. You can get these FHA loans. You get a little money, little skin in the game, low down payment, lower credit requirement. You can Airbnb that. And he was also saying things like, put 9 bedrooms in it or whatever, because that's, I don't know, any zoning that would allow you to take a 4-bedroom house and turn it into 9 bedrooms and rent rooms. And the business, the short-term rental business, to make money, 35% of them, over 1 in 3 are saying that they're having major challenges, closures. Nearly 24% of current hosts have stopped renting out at least one property in the past year, either temporarily or permanently, and 10% of homeowners surveyed were lapsed short-term rental hosts. The primary reason for halting rentals are financial. 44% of hosts stopped because long-term rentals offered more stability, and 33% found them more profitable. So after they went and spent $35,000 in furniture for a short-term rental, they decided that they would rent it long-term, that they would actually make more money.
Crazy, huh? What are your thoughts, Cher? Jeez.
It just verifies what I just said, because you have this, some of these Airbnb hosts have this crazy number in their head, but they don't account for vacancies and high level of vacancies. And that's why I advised my client, look, I wasn't making any money off of it, but I felt like he'd be really foolish to give up a really good tenant long term, especially since this tenant was willing to sign a 2-year lease and try to get the big money. Again, bears and bulls make money and pigs get slaughtered. I told him, be reasonable, don't get greedy here. Go with the secure, steady income with the tenant. That is gold. Agreed.
I think some of this stuff is happening more so in places like Brigantine and Ventnor. Margate doesn't really seem to have a huge short-term rental issue. I mean, every so often you hear dust-ups between neighbors, but Margate seemingly has the short-term rental thing pretty well situated compared to Ventnor, which might be a little more loosey-goosey.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hear a lot of short-term rentals, Airbnbs. Yeah, for sure. And you know, Atlantic City has so many.
Here's a
Airbnb.
question for you.
What?
It just came in, a fax just came in. It's a little early for the Ask Sherry segment, but dear Sherry, number one, I like your pearls. They're beautiful. Nice. They complement your outfit today. So, and then they're asking, what the hell did they ask? They go, Sherry, with all these houses that might have a little difficulty selling at a good price, what they think is a good price, do you think it's a good idea for some home sellers that are not getting what they want in terms of the price, or maybe there's no demand right now for their property? Should they consider converting it to a short-term rental for the summer? What are the pros and cons of that?
That's a great question. First of all, in the summer is when people are down here more readily available to look at properties if they are thinking about buying. So if you have a tenant, it's a big problem for showings. Plus, if you have a lease in place, let's say someone is down here and they wanted the second half of the summer, they wanted to buy it. You can't. You have a lease in place. That lease, unless you have a clause in your contract that says, I can kick you out, that lease in the state of New Jersey gets automatically transferred to the new owner. So the negatives are, if you really, really want to sell, don't stick a tenant in there. You'd be better off just lowering your price. And then the other thing, the advantage of that is other people pull their houses off the market in the summer because they do have tenants or they're going to use it. So don't you want to be one of the fewer homes that are still available, still can be shown? And let's not get away from the idea that tenants in general don't treat the properties the same way they would treat something that they own. They can cause damage. They could put dings in the wall. You know, it may not be a big thing, but enough to make your house that looks fabulous when you show it look not so great. So I just don't recommend it. I would say lower your price and get aggressive before you say, oh, let me just put a tenant in there. If you're putting a tenant in there, don't expect to sell it or show it in the summer. Just don't. It's not going to happen, or it's not going to be very easy. It's going to be a lot of stress for everybody.
I gotcha. Want to do a little walkthrough of a new awesome rental that you have that you just put up on the market for summertime 2025?
I do. Can you show that screen?
I'll think about it. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this off. I have to figure out Let's see. We get this. Stay right there.
Yeah.
God, it's right there.
Technical difficulties. We're having technical difficulties. Wait, we just did it.
Yeah, it's not doing it live. So,
Oh, okay. Well,
no, that's unfortunate.
yeah, maybe if you take me off the main screen, maybe it would.
Yeah, one
Maybe do
moment.
that.
Let me see. Yeah, but everybody wants you on the main screen. They're
Oh, yeah,
always
no.
saying that you must do that. Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's right here. Screw
Not
it.
doing
Stop screen.
All right, why don't we do this? Why don't you show the map? Can you show them you pulled it up on the map?
Yeah, why don't you send me? I want. Doggone it! I wish I could run that for you. I must have turned it off in some way.
It's so I could just start talking about it.
Oh, I got it. I'm sorry. Here it goes. Here it goes.
Ah, there you are. See, it was already open. That was the problem.
Yeah. So let's start from the get-go. So this is the property. It's a rental. It's awesome. It's right there on the beach block. It's a great price. And I think Sherry will give you some sense. Let me double click. So to do this, I click on.
Yeah, double click the pictures.
Let me reduce the size here because that's why I can't see anything. So I click that. And then I click I click the gray one. So it makes it larger somewhat.
So this is, yeah, so
let me open it up here. Let me open up
it's only a few houses from the beach. So let's just start up with the basics. It's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, right? It's not where you're going to bring a big family, but it's great for 2 people that want to share a place. Look at how beautiful, stately home. Now, this is a ground floor apartment, so I want to be really clear, but you don't feel like you're in the ground floor. You don't have the low headroom. The owner lives upstairs, kitchen, great appliances. It has a gas stove, stainless steel appliances, granite countertop, and look at those floors. Now, those floors are tiled to look like wood, which is great because you can get them wet. And, if you come in a little wet from the beach, you're not going to damage the floor. The sofa is a sleeper sofa, but this is an occupancy for 2 people. And again, the owner lives upstairs. It is pet friendly. Depending on the pet, the owner has to approve the pet. And it has everything. Everything's included. And did I say the owner lives upstairs? I don't remember. But the owner lives upstairs. So it's not for people that want to have big parties. It has a nice sized bathroom, and there is a washer and dryer in the bathroom, which is nice. You have your own washer and dryer, and a very, very big master bedroom with ample closet space. What I love about this bedroom is the brick wall. It's the original brick. It's so pretty. Like your eyes are just drawn to that brick. It's just really nice the way they preserved it. As you can see, it has recessed lighting, big king size bed. So it's a very comfortable place for 2 people. The occupancy is only 2, but the best, and there's a desk that you can work on, so your laptop or whatever. So anyway, it's just a fabulous location. It's a very clean, well-appointed unit. The only drawback is there is no parking with it, but there's a patio area in the back that you can use.
Let me dig up the map. Let me dig up maybe the most important thing. How's that?
Yeah, the location. Oh, you're going to put the little person down? Make sure you put them on the right street.
So here it is. It's right there between Nashville and South Amherst, and it's just a couple of houses from the beach, right?
Yeah, from the beautiful Ventnor boardwalk. So it's really a lovely home. Don't go on Nashville. You got to go on the other street. You're in Nashville again. I know. Anyway, yeah.
Figure it out. You do me a favor and get your company, the brokerage that you work for, have them fix all this before we get on the podcast next time.
Okay, well, whatever. You can Google it. It's 107 South. The viewers can Google it. It's 107 South Amherst. And it's just a few houses from the boardwalk.
And what about the cost? What about the pricing?
So if you want to do full summer, it's 15.5. If you want to do the month of August only, it's 8,000, or the month of July only, it's 8,000. And then we could split it up. Also, they would consider doing like a September, the people that love September. If you, yeah. Anyway, it's for 15.5 full summer. You could be down at the shore in a beautiful, well-appointed apartment, just a few houses from the boardwalk.
There was a time when these houses along the shore used a lot of columns, like Greek columns, Roman columns. What's this design? It's a mixture. It's brick, a lot of masonry. It might be all masonry.
No, you know what? When you get closer, it's actually they did siding. I think there's brick underneath. That's the brick wall in the bedroom. Yeah. But I think they covered up the brick with some siding, which is sad. But I haven't seen the main house, though. I'm sure the main house is gorgeous.
Are we all done with this one? Anything else?
We're done. Thank you. So anybody wants to rent for the summer, call me at 609-287-1795.
And your email address is probably easier to remember.
Realty Sherry. You have to spell my name right. SHERRI. It's realtysherry@gmail.com.
Or just tell them to go to the front page of Down Beach Buzz, and they'll see you right there and all that.
Buzz, you're right.
It'll be right next to my two favorite ladies right now, Sherry Lilienfeld and Sunny Buccaroni from Mrs. B's Boutique.
Mrs. B's has been there for quite some time.
She's the best. So just a little taste here, because we're so positive here on Down Beach Buzz. It's the stuff that you know is true. It's right in front of your face, but people just don't pay attention to it because come on, it's a nice guy. I don't want to throw any shade on the guy. But Coastal Collectives, a brand new place coming to Ventnor on May 2. They are filling the big shoes of Mac Arts. It's going to be great. May 2 in Ventnor, and we'll tell you more about that. Another big story was the challenges of the Sunrise Tequila wine bar, tequila bar, concrete. They poured it before the permitting was approved. When they poured it, all of a sudden the sloping was off by 100%. They had to rip everything out. I don't know if they were fined, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on that some projects, sometimes there's not enough inspectors. I guess that's what it is, right? And tonight, is it tonight? April 3? Yeah, Jimmy Dore, a big podcaster. I listen to Jimmy a lot. He is funny. He's at the Claridge tonight, April 3. And coming up next week, the final show in the series for the great South Jersey Players Dinner Theater at Aroma, Italian fine dining. One more show, and that's April 8th. That's next week at 5:30. And they usually have series of like 5, 6, 7, 8 shows. So doing a great job, the South Jersey Players at Aroma. Look, they're enjoying their meal. See that, Sharon? You like pasta, or you?
I do love Italian. I know a couple of ladies in that picture too.
Who are they? Who are they?
Well, they are actually, like the two on the left, they're actually big volunteers for my offshore wind.
Okay.
They work the booth. They get gift donations.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Doreen
awesome.
And,
that is awesome. Beyond words. And
have you been to one of those plays? I'm curious how long they are.
No, they're relatively short. They're a bunch of one-act plays, so there are a whole bunch of smaller ones. But it's a great like an hour and a half night out with dinner and the show and classical guitar. Reed, my good friend Reed, plays classical guitar in between the one-act plays. So it's always sold out. It's a
great idea.
Marlene May, or Marla. I'm sorry, I mispronounced her name, but they do a great job. So South Jersey Players, one more show left. I would look into that. Do you like?
Wait. 2025 Margate budget. I love your little cartoon.
I was going to introduce that, but then you cut me off. But yeah, do you like my AI cartoon of our good friends Maury, Kathy, and Mayor Mike?
It's adorable.
Have you seen that?
I didn't see that one, but that's.
And just in case our podcast, you and me, it blows up for some reason, all of a sudden you go off and you get into volunteering for something in like the middle of Kansas or something, and I move off and I become a realtor in Miami Beach, I just want to let you know that I hired some AI podcasters to maybe take our place, just to give you some idea. So I asked them, hey, listen, before I hire you, can you handle the Margate situation, the money thing, the gas station, the water bills, higher taxes, Mayor Mike? Can you give me some proof that you could do a good podcast, forcing the elected officials and the CFOs of the world to be more transparent? So here's the tape they sent me.
Okay, so you sent over some Margate budget facts for us to kind of dig into.
Yeah.
And I think our goal today is pretty straightforward. We want to figure out what are the biggest changes in Margate's budget,
Right.
and what are people talking about when it comes to their money?
Absolutely. So you've got information on the tax levy and the tax rate, property values debt,
Hmm.
and then some of these spending decisions, which have really caused some waves.
Yeah, and it looks like the bottom line is that taxes are probably going up,
Yeah.
and people are asking some pretty tough questions about how Margate is managing its money.
Yeah, for sure. Let's start with those tax numbers. I think those are the big ones.
Okay.
So the proposal right now is a 3.28% increase in the tax levy and a 1.53% increase in the tax rate.
What do you think, that Sherry? You think we have a future in podcasting, or will AI agents take over our job?
I mean, they did a pretty good job. I was surprised that Miss AI used the in her. She used an in there, which
That's what they're doing.
surprised
They
me.
are adding more realistic human speaking. So they talk over each other on occasion. They say ums here and there. They take a weird, or they mispronounce it a little bit, but it becomes more, it's tougher to identify whether it's AI or not. But when we used this a couple of months ago, you could definitely tell it was AI because it was so perfect. But imperfect AI vocals is very believable. And some people might say, well, it's phony, it's fake. But in reality, it comes in handy. If you don't have time to read this stuff when we send out our Down Beach Buzz email newsletter, it is kind of cool to click on it and hear somebody describe it or talk about it. Because when I feed all these facts into the AI, it'll come back and it'll say things differently and have me understand it deeper and better. And I find it to be very helpful in really getting to know your subject. So, and it does a great job with the cartoons too. I mean, it looks like a Speed Racer cartoon or something. I don't know. You think, Mayor? You think
love
Mario?
that.
You
It's
think
cute.
you think all three of them enjoyed this? I have a feeling they have it on their screensavers, but they cut out the other stuff like gas station and water bills and higher taxes. They got rid of that part, but they cropped out their faces. And I don't think you get to see Maury hanging with Kathy and Mike as often as we all would like to see. Yeah, just shake your head that way. Yeah, there's a meeting tonight. Are you going?
Possibly. I think they're introducing my microplastics construction ordinance. Finally, Maury has been all over contractor fines and getting tougher with enforcement and hiring people, which is good because obviously ordinances don't mean anything if you're not going to enforce them. So.
Well, can I play some audio from the last time we had you in Margate talking about the ordinance? I have some audio clips from that when you were addressing Mayor Collins. Can I run that? I'll run it real quick, just a couple seconds.
Okay.
You ready? Here we go.
Hello, everyone. Steve Baglivo, 9600 Atlantic Avenue, Margate, New Jersey. In relationship to the Sunrise Tequila ramp,
That
Scott,
would be interesting.
is that ramp already built?
It's built.
So it's already
done.
built.
They built it, yes.
They
And,
built the ramp.
Somewhere we said, wait a minute, you need a license here for this ramp. So
was there an inspection by code enforcement prior to approve them to pour the concrete for the related ramp?
the license for Sunrise Tequila, so without tearing down exterior wall buildings, handicap ramp, license to go in the right of way of Monroe Avenue. Yes, they did put it in already. But as you're probably aware, their sidewalk failed. They didn't have the proper slope. And if you go by there, you'll see they've ripped out the sidewalk. I don't think they ripped out the stairs, but all the concrete is gone. They have to replace it. The slope can't exceed 2%. I think it was closer to 4%. So they got failed by the county, and I think we failed them too. Their contractor, he screwed up in a number of ways, Maury. So that was a mistake.
Being a builder and developer, I know there's certain processes you run through. You do your forms, and then you call for an inspection of your forms before you pour your concrete, and that inspection is either approved or failed. Before they poured that ramp that exists on the street in the public right-of-way, why were they not instructed to build that into the structure and not on the public right-of-way?
So Steve, I mean, I guess to just follow up with Pat's, I think if you have questions related to this.
I know, it's interesting.
should-
I watch
but you should
people
ask
time after time ask questions here that are not relevant to anything really, and they're answered. But I ask a question and I'm told that, you know, it's not, this is not how this is supposed to be working.
We don't have somebody here to answer those questions. I mean, we don't have anyone here from the construction department to verify that. That wouldn't be Roger, that would be construction, correct?
And why is that? Why do we not have a public person here from the building department?
Commissioner, do you have an answer?
Yes, Palma is on vacation. She's usually here. She's on vacation today and tomorrow.
Mayor Collins did one answer. He threw it to Maury. Maury, you handle this question.
Wait, can I just make a statement?
Do you know that hold on, let me turn your mic up. Hold on, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, let me make a statement though.
Yes, ma'am.
Most commissioner meetings,
Yeah.
you have maybe 3 minutes to speak,
Mhm.
and it's just comment. It is not a question and answer period. It is called public comment for a reason. If you want to get specific questions answered, you should call or email whoever is going to give you that answer. That is most municipalities. Margate is very generous with allowing people to talk and engage with you and answer their questions. So even though that sounded bad for the city, if he had a specific question, he should have sent it in an email or called the building department. That is normal procedure for most municipalities. They don't let people get up there and go on and on. They have a timer and it goes bing. And once it goes bing, they tell you to thank you and sit down.
I was
Period.
surprised. I was surprised that they kept on allowing Mr. Baglivo, the developer, to ask all those questions. I agree with you. Maybe one question, maybe, but it was almost like almost an interrogation. I liked it because they were all, they were trying to give feedback. But but tonight, if you see Mr. Baglivo, could you send him my best?
The funny thing is, my son used to play with his son. His son is such a nice young man. And I mean, this was years ago, maybe 15 years ago. Very polite, nice young man. So I've known him for a very long time before he was a developer. There was one point when I was trying to find him a place to rent with a girlfriend he had. So I've known him a really long time. But will I say hi to him? I usually nod, and his fiance will nod, and that's where we leave it.
No, I hope everybody likes Mr. Baglivo attending these meetings. I think it's awesome, and that's the big reason why I want these Margate Commission meetings to be live Zoom casted, because I want to be able to see people like Bags in action, or my good friend, the esteemed solicitor, John Scott Abbott, the king of riparian rights.
He is amazing with the riparian rights, by the way. And as you know, I'm a real estate professional, and whenever there was questions with riparian rights, I would always refer to him, my client, to him to represent them and research it. He has like these old maps and stuff. Like he's like a history buff too. So like he has all of this information that other lawyers just don't have.
Yeah, he might be able to find a little stream or a trickle that runs underneath your property. That would not be a good phone call from Mr. Abbott.
Yeah, so people don't realize it.
Yeah.
There are streams exactly that run underground, and you have to pay the state some like fee to allow your home to be there. Like even if you're not near the water, like it's crazy. Anyway.
All right, Miss Lilienfeld, I think you've had enough of me, and right back at you. But those are all the stories. Those are some of the big stories. The Margate budget, the annual turtle roadkill. That's a story that's getting an awful lot of comments. We have the 2025 New Jersey recreational saltwater fishing regulations. And are you familiar with some of these regulations? The flounder season, Sheriff, that's from May 4 to September 25. Were you aware of that?
I was not. That's very interesting news that I
Yes.
appreciate you sharing and educating me and others on.
Flounder, May 4 to September
Wait,
25th.
wait, back up. How do they enforce that?
What they do is they scare the heck out of you, and if they catch you with a fish that's outside of those limits, they will seriously fine you. And they have binoculars, they have all types of inspectors. Most people are pretty honest about this stuff, and they know if you cut it up already and all that. They know all that stuff. So it's crazy, but they're tough. They're tough on recreational fishers. The state of New Jersey, they should be more focused on the commercial fishermen because they're coming in with big scoops and they're scooping everything up. Cher, if you thought that people building wind turbines out in the ocean or dredging up the undersea world, if you thought that was bad, you should see how the commercial fishermen, how they drag the bottom for everything. And they get a couple of here and there good things, but then they have byproduct or bycatch, they call it bycatch. And that's where critters die, and it's nuts. But it's interesting how we gave away rights to our ocean, or at least some people are trying to privatize it, huh?
Yeah. So wait, let's get back to these limits. It's per person, like per boat trip, like.
Yeah, 3 per person per day. Yes, that's per person, not on the boat. So it's there's a whole lot of different limits here. But like, for example, some fish, they have a whole bunch of variable times when you can fish, the sizes, how many per person. If you'll take a look at the black sea bass, during May and June, you could do 10 per person. But then when July and August rolls around, just 1 per person. So, the cycle of the breeding and all that. And they do a great job in New Jersey with all these different pictures and graphs and an easy to print out thing. You got to register. It's free to register. And I got a nice picture of the Ventnor fishing pier. People love fishing off the Ventnor fishing pier. We're very lucky to have that, Cher.
Oh, that pier is beautiful. And since they added, the nice public restrooms, and it's when I have guests that come here that have never been to the shore, I always take them for a walk down the boardwalk, up the fishing pier. And of course, photo opportunity at the end. And it's beautiful.
All right. Is that about it? Anything else you want to share before you go take a nap or get some vegan lunch?
I'm good. Thank you so much. And so if it's a buy, I just want to close the earlier conversation that it's a great time for buyers, that buyers should not be afraid to just come in and make an offer, that they should have proper representation, i.e. a buyer's agent who is going to do the research and properly advise them, that they need to understand that if they go to the listing agent has set the price. Why would you want to negotiate with someone that set a price when you want to go in for a different price? So great opportunity for buyers. It's early April, still plenty of time to get in before the summer season. And of course, cash is king. So don't be shy and feel free to call me if you want good representation as a buyer's agent and to make an offer on a house you've just been keeping an eye on for a really long time.
And there's one more thing, Cher. While I'm, when I'm not focused on you and marketing you and doing everything I can, that you are everything revolves around, you revolve around the world or whatever that, what that whole saying
That
is.
sounds really obnoxious. Can you, that didn't sound right at all.
But listen, what I wanted to let you know, I meant well. I meant it in a good way, but my whole world revolves around you. And on occasion, I will stop and I'll reach out to other people that we both love. And that this thing is Denny Levinson. You know Denny Levinson, right? He's the county executive. He's the big boss of the hot sauce, the county executive of Atlantic County. And he wants to do shared services. He believes that the 21 or 22 municipalities in Atlantic County, they really should share more services. Everybody wants to have their own home rule. And tax assessments, he wants to do a county-wide tax assessment where each individual town, a fair amount of them want to do it themselves, and we can only imagine why. Well, Sheriff, because I'm always thinking about you, I wanted to get the answers to some of this stuff because people are talking about the new taxes coming. And so I was listening to the John DeMasi radio show on WPG 2 Saturdays ago. And somebody called in because Denny was talking about the need for shared services, and we have to figure out a way of not duplicating efforts and all that kind of stuff. It could be more tax efficient if we do a county-wide thing. Somebody called in. You might know them. See if you know this voice. See if you're impressed. Here we go.
John in AC wants to talk to Denny. John, you're on with Denny Levinson.
Well, thank you, Mr. DeMasi. What a great show. I listen every Saturday morning. I'm so happy to have Denny Levinson on the phone because I'm a fan of countywide tax reassessments. And maybe, Denny, I know we can shine some light on this. How often should towns do a reval? I think I read something that the county is doing a deal with a GPS software system to provide aerial imagery of land and improvements, which could, quote, set the stage for Atlantic County Board of Taxation to issue a countywide reassessment order. I think you, Denny, did say way back that Margate was valued at just 51% of true market value. And then Mr. Serra, the fine Brigantine mayor, recently said at a council meeting, Mr. Vince Serra of Brigantine said just last week, he said he would rather do revals locally. Does that mean that Mr. Serra of Brigantine can opt out of this potential countywide tax reassessment?
Good question. It almost sounds like a setup question. I swear, I don't know who you are. Here's what it comes down to. We talk about countywide assessment. Let me put it in layman's terms. You mentioned Margate at 51%. If your house is assessed on the books at $500,000 a year, you're paying taxes on an assessment of $1 million a year because you're about at half.
All right. So if you want to hear more of that, go to Down Beach Buzz and click on the story that says Levinson touts savings from countywide tax assessment shared services. Did you enjoy that caller to the radio show? Did you like that?
I love when he said, "This sounds like a setup. I don't know who you are. Hello."
I have no idea who you are. I swear. And he really didn't know it was me. But he's probably thinking just the way you think when I'm yapping about real estate. He's probably saying, is there somebody in Atlantic County that's totally enthralled by all this talk?
It's funny. After he announced about, the reassessment and, we got our water bill. Oh my God. Every time I would see a neighbor walking their dog, they start complaining about, that was the hot topic, the water bill in Margate and the reassessment. What's Denny Levinson doing? And what about this water bill? And anyway.
Yeah, Denny to this day, I don't think he knows it was me. So, but it wasn't, I thought I disrespected him, but he probably was saying, man, how do you know all this stuff?
No, you just had a really good question.
You're not surprised by that, right?
I am not surprised. You do ask very good questions. You are
go.
very thorough in your research and you know how to ask good questions.
So why am I not a realtor?
Because you would be miserable. Because it would be so much fun, right?
Oh, but you know me. I don't know if I'd be a good real estate agent. I don't think I would.
So, part of being a realtor is being able to have a great relationship with other realtors. It's very important. Yeah. And if somebody twist you the wrong way, I think you would tend to get very angry and emotional, and you got to leave that stuff at the door, right? You can't let your emotions cloud the end goal, and the end goal is to get your client what they want at the price that they hopefully, they would expect to get it at.
And if I had a $2 million offer for a nice beach block in Ventnor, and I handed the offer to this realtor who maybe he and I don't get along that well, should I require him to get the offer signed off by the seller? And what if he doesn't give me that certification or that signature that, yes, the seller saw your offer? What if he doesn't sign that piece of paper, that seller? Well, should I be angry?
It's definitely very frustrating. Yeah. As a good standard operating procedure, it's always good to ask to have that with any offer that goes in. 9 times out of 10, you won't get it. And all I could say is you must document everything. And the only time it becomes an issue is if you see the property transacts for a price that was like less than your offer, or, you know, where you had a better offer and then you're like, that's interesting. Like, had that happen, and then you could file a complaint, and then they do an investigation. The Board of Realtors, the Real Estate Commission, they'll do a investigation, and the other side has to prove that they did present the offer. They might even call in the seller to say, when did you see this offer? Like, did you see this offer? So unfortunately, that takes a lot of time. Anytime I've been involved, and I had a case, right? I literally had a file. I had all my documentation. And then I was like, do I really want to spend my time doing this? That's
deep
the
down
problem.
inside, deep down inside, you were angry, but you kept it down, right? You let it all simmer and you pushed it back down, right?
The way I deal with like my anger is I start doing tasks, right? And my task was to put my file together, my documentation. That if I decided after I slept on it, after I left the anger at the door, and then I said, you know what, I am going to file this, then I would. But at least I was ready. I had all my documentation. I have a file. I actually have a few files. I have a few files to relate.
I just want to let you know that if I were to consider becoming a realtor, I would go through anger management classes and all that.
As you should. You can't be emotional. It's business. Can't take stuff personally. It's business.
Well, but when it comes down to probably the biggest purchase in your life or the biggest investment, and you hope that everybody follows the NAR, National Association of Realtors Code of Ethics, you know, where they have to be transparent, right? There's a code of ethics. That big part of being a part of NAR, the National Association of Realtors, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have quite an extensive list, a code of ethics, and maybe we can review them at one of these other podcasts. But honestly, I don't think people in general care about that as much as they want to know what's the value of their home, or what can they buy a house for, what's the rental market doing. So
all right, Shari, listen, one of the other items that I'm going to take advantage of here. So anger management classes, take a deep breath, you know, serenity now. But also I might even take a walk down to Legal Distribution, my local dispensary. And you and me one day, we'll click on the shop now, or maybe we'll just go in person right down the street near Stockton. And we might want to pay online to buy some of these categories of, what do you think we have? What kind of specials do we have? Look, Shari, delivery to Down Beach starting now. First month delivery free.
okay.
Now,
have you been ordering? Because that's not my thing. What?
I know you are, but in case you were, you have a choice of flour, pre-rolls, vaporizers, edibles, concentrates, and accessories. And but the edibles, like, you like chocolate, you enjoy candy.
I do like chocolate, but I don't like cannabis. So
do you know who one of the co-owners of Legal Distribution is, the cannabis store in Atlantic City? Do you know who one of the legal owners is?
No, because there's so many cannabis stores in Atlantic City. Who's one of the legal owners?
Legal Distribution is co-owned by the gentleman who owns Boca.
Oh.
Did you know that? You didn't know that?
Lou.
Yeah.
Lou's a good businessman, and he's actually a very generous man. He's a good neighbor.
Did you ever think that when you go online to purchase cannabis, discounts, delivery, it's hard to believe that we're doing that, because years ago you'd go to jail or get caught if you had a nickel bag or a pack of rolling papers.
If you just had possession of a little marijuana on you, yeah, it would affect your record. Like, you'd have a record.
Yeah, but it's really interesting to see how they market these products. And I don't call it pot anymore, or marijuana, or weed. I can't call it anything other than cannabis. For some reason, it just, when but there's all kinds of stuff here. And I think there's some benefit for some people that they may not need a pharmaceutical. They may not need to drink, or, you should always talk to your doctor first. But Legal Distribution is an interesting retail outlet, and it's literally right across the border, right near Stockton. Although I don't see a lot of Stockton kids going down there. But always impressed with these guys. And they have all these weird names for their cannabis. The Kind Tree Guava Cream Cake. I don't know. And this one is called Cinnamon Milk Palisades Flower. I don't know. I never thought I would do a podcast about cannabis and not have to ask for permission from my bosses at the radio station or the TV station.
True.
I always hated that, working for big media, and I had to get their permission. Anyway, we covered a lot of bases. And legal distribution is not an advertiser, but I just wanted to say that it's a good product if you need it, and some good people are running these things.
If you need it, you know,
if you need it, yeah.
Just one other thing about cannabis. I mean, there are really some documented true medical benefits of cannabis, like people with epilepsy and seizures and pain and sleep. So even though, you know, we joke around about, you know, it's a drug and now we could go in a store and buy it. There are really good uses for it that are documented through clinical studies. But just
when I was taking care of my mama, chocolate cannabis came in handy to have her chilled and calm down from some of her manic attacks. And it was very, very, very helpful. And because all the other drugs the doctors would prescribe, it just didn't work anymore. So
that's what I mean. But like even for epilepsy, if you look at the side effects of typical epilepsy drugs, they are horrible. Where cannabis, like people would give it to children and get great benefits from it with their seizures, whereas the drugs had so many side effects. It's just something from my pharmaceutical days that I just wanted to share. But
I just want to let you know that a lot of people have emailed me and instant messaged me and said, you know, the one thing that we'd like to see is if Sherry was, you know, by accident inhaled something or had a gummy and she didn't know. They all think that you would be you're awesome now, but you would take it to a whole nother level and be a different kind of Sherry. That's what I hear.
You're saying I'm too like stuffy, too tight collared? Is that what you're saying? You want to?
No, we didn't. I want people to know the real Sherry.
Okay. Well,
they even have cookies.
All right. I think we spent enough on this. Enough. It's not time for you to shop. Look, your girlfriend wants to know if you want to know about her daily discounts in her store. I'm sure she looks just like that too.
That's a chat bot. Yeah. Trying to sell me something. But it's amazing because right now, Pennsylvania still does not have legal recreational cannabis. That's crazy.
Gelato. Oh my God. Okay. Well, it's been over an hour. I think it's enough. Time to wrap it up.
All right. You tell Bags I said hi, and Michael and Maury, if you could send my best that I'm thinking about them, and the business administrator in Margate, if he can find the time. I know he's busy. No pressure, but can he finally, after he gets your resolution becoming an ordinance for safe, clean work sites, if you can let them know that probably a live Zoom feed would be helpful.
Well, I was thinking when you were talking about countywide, like when I went to county commissioner meetings, they have really good live Zoom of the meetings, right? That's the first thing that they should be working on, is getting every municipality to have that. So good point.
It should be kind of like a shared service. If the county can come up with a good vendor that knows how to install audio, video equipment and get the Zoom going. Because some towns, Atlantic City does a great job. Stone Harbor does a great job. Ocean City does a great job. But Margate does not want you to see what's going on. And listen, it's not money, but one day I hope enough people.
Into that topic now.
But listen, let me just bring it back. Let me keep it real. Say hi to Mr. Baglivo. Typically, you sit near him, right?
I usually get there early. And
he's going to get married soon?
I don't know all those things. I just know that she was wearing a ring, so I assume it's his fiance. So maybe it's a bad assumption. I don't know.
I'm amazed by the guy because he's a smart guy. He's no dummy.
He's very smart. And before he was a developer, he had a business of, when people would have floods, what's it called when like the insurance, not an appraiser, like someone that fights with insurance companies on your behalf. What is that called?
That would be an insurance adjuster.
An adjuster. Yeah. I mean, he has a very successful bit. I don't even know if he's still doing it. He might be, but, yeah, no, he's very smart and he understands legal stuff, obviously. If he could work as an insurance adjuster, he knows how to work systems well. So anyway.
All right. Can you let me go now? I got things to do. I got all kinds of stuff to do. I'm saving, you're not the only real estate agent that I need to focus on.
Okay. Have a nice day.
No, you're the only one I'm allowed to. That's it. Only you. You're enough. You're enough.
But we are happy to share other people's listings with their permission.
Explain that. Explain why every other realtor in Margate or Ventnor, why they shouldn't be sending their listing in front of our audience of about 30,000 people. Why are they not doing that? Why? What's going on?
I don't know, but we have offered realtors to highlight their listings, to walk through their listings. If it's on your website, then the only caveat is they would be fed into my website. Like it would have all the listing detail, but it'd be fed into my website where I could then work with any potential buyer leads. And they didn't like that idea. So there's a few. Joanne Ferrara is always very happy to have me share her listings and talk about them. So anyway, yes. So we are happy to cooperate with other realtors and share their listings and acknowledge them.
Yes. So everybody who has a listing right now, and maybe you're on the market a little too long, or maybe you think you need another boost, you got to talk. Now, Sherry can't say this, but I certainly can. You got to talk to your agent, your seller's agent, and say, why are you not using DownbeachBUZZ? It's like close to nothing. What are you, nuts? And then why haven't you reached out to DownbeachBUZZ? I can take a wild guess why they don't want to do this. You're not allowed to say it, Cher. But I can, right? Yeah, so I can say it. But, there's sometimes people don't want to share the excitement of a transaction, and some would like to get more of the commission pie. But that's just my conspiracy theory because I'm an angry guy ready to go through therapy to chill me out. That's why I'm always talking about legal distribution because I got to chill. Serenity now. All right.
Serenity now.
Jeez.
Okay.
Her name is Sherry, super real estate pro. Sherry, super duper realtor to the stars. Real estate.